What is up, fight fans? I am Jason Burgos for Sportsnaut, and with me is an 8-fight UFC veteran who was victorious earlier this month when he beat Uber veteran Sam Alvey on short notice, no less, by TKO. And that man I speak of is the one they call All In, aka Brendan Allen. Senor All In, thank you so much for the time today.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, bunch of questions, so many things to talk to you about. Now, your win over Sam Alvey, like I mentioned, was a bounce back victory for you, but it wasn't like a situation where you went through like a fight camp. You're trying to right the wrong of that recent loss. You took this on like crazy short notice after having fought just almost exactly 2 months before. What was like the impetus for behind just taking that fight on such short notice? Was it like, you know what, I want to get that win off my record. I don't like the taste left in my mouth. Was it like, you know what, chance to make some money real quick, cool with it, or was it kind of both of those things?
Yeah, it was both. I think, but for me, it was more financially. I just needed to gain more financial stability for my family, not so much me, but just the rest of my family. Just things outside of my control kind of happened, and I felt it was my responsibility to take care of it for this time, and with the job that I have and how things are, it just felt like it was all right. And it was a roll of the dice, man, but I knew win or lose, I was going to get paid. I knew I've won before, I've lost before. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I was just going out there and going to get paid, but I damn sure wasn't going to lay down for nobody. So I was going to win. And that was always the thing. Every time I go out there, I'm going to win.
I mean, talk to me about like this situation as much as you can. I don't want to get too personal. You don't have to get too personal, of course. But like why this situation where you kind of had to pick up your family, so to speak. It seems like financially, like what can you tell me about this situation that it kind of worked out right, that you were able to help family and when they needed it.
Yeah, I guess the brunt of it is just, like, things happened and suddenly bills popped up and they had to get paid somewhere or another. And like I said, I felt like it was my responsibility to really take control of that. And I feel like I have all the opportunity to do that with the job that I have. And so I asked my manager if he could get me a fight, and he said he'd ask Ali how soon it could be. And it just happened to be that one. And so I jumped at the opportunity. And like I said, it was a roll of the dice. It was a gamble. And luckily it came on my favor. And now everything's good and everything's well, and on to the next, right?
And I'm glad you brought up the roll of the dice and stuff like that, because I was going to ask you, because every fighter, when they go into fight week, they say all the right things. They want to have the right frame of mind. I feel great. This is the best I've ever felt. But, for your situation, like you coming in on short notice, can you give me specific reasons why it was risky? Like, did you take maybe a good vacation after the Chris Curtis loss, and maybe you weren't in the shape that you would normally be? Or are you a kind of a gym rat kind of guy, and you're in the gym anyway, so you were fairly close to fight camp shape anyway, and the risk in the fight was for different reasons?
No, definitely. I'm not a gym rat by any means. When I come home, because I train in Florida and I live in Louisiana, so I'm just resting, recovering my body, eating, getting fat, like for a couple weeks, and then I'll get back to lifting, running, maybe a session or two here or there, but definitely not the shape that I would be in for a fight. So, of course, that was the risk for me, is just seeing if my cardio would hold up. But luckily, I knew that Sam was a guy that would keep his back against the cage most of the time, so I can dictate the pace. So there was concern there, but not overly concerned. But I think that was the biggest risk for me. It was, I don't know, it just never – other than that, there's nothing really that creeps into my head other than, hey, I can get caught, I can lose, but that's every single fight. So there was nothing different, It was, but it was just kind of weird. Like, people still expected me to win even on 3 days notice. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was like, oh, like, still the betting odds and everything were behind me. And it was just like, I still don't feel any pressure, but it's just kind of weird. Like, I haven't trained. I haven't really done anything. I trained the week before that fight, or the week before that fight, just because I was there helping out some teammates at Sanford. But other than that, that was the first time I sparred since the fight with Curtis. And yeah, man, it was just, it was a crazy experience that is, it's memorable. It's something that I can say I've done. It's just experience. It'll be nice one day to look back and just laugh at it or say, and then luckily it worked out in my favor. But yeah, those type of things aren't really for me unless it's a great opportunity, 205, because I can't make 85 on short notice. And it just has to be the right matchup. Like, I won't lie about it and say I'm going to fight anyone. Like, obviously, if they pay me, if they change my pay, I'll fight. But I mean, I'm not going to fight a top 15 guy for the same pay on 3 days notice at 205. So.
And I was going to ask about that too, because when you're kind of called by the UFC to do a short notice fight, and honestly, you're doing them a favor. I mean, yeah, they probably look at it as, we're doing you a favor, but you're doing them a favor by keeping Alvey on the card. You give them more fulfillment of the card. Is there any chance to have any leverage? Like, can you, ask for maybe a little bit more money than you want, or maybe if your contract's coming up, can we renew that deal? Like, is there any leverage or not really?
To be honest, man, I'm not really sure. I haven't really had that experience happen to me. I know people. I've heard of people doing that and renegotiating a contract or renegotiating a price or whatever for that. But for me in particular, it was nothing. I felt like they helped me and I helped them. It was kind of a I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of deal for this one specifically. But I feel like maybe it'll help with when we negotiate. Hopefully, if I get another win, we'll renegotiate. But to me, that's my manager. He'll take care of that. That's what his experience and knowledge is in. So, to be honest, I'm not stressing about it or worrying about it. But I feel like it could play a factor for sure in the negotiations, especially if I go out there, get another good win.
Yeah.
Kind of write that first one off as like, hey, man, that was our third opponent. Like, things happen. Like, we just got caught. But hey, we took this fight on 3 days notice, and you know what I mean. So yeah. I feel like help that right that wrong in a certain sense.
You got to compete, like you mentioned, it was at 205 instead of your normal division middleweight. Obviously, it maybe not anything in the near future, but did competing at that weight, not having to really cut that much, did it feel good? Did you feel fresh? Did you feel like a different kind of energy level on some level that you're like, maybe down the line, maybe past 30 in a bunch of years or whatnot, maybe this is something I can do? Or it wasn't anything like that? It was a weird situation, super short notice, wasn't in the great shape. You won, you're not really thinking about that kind of stuff.
No, for sure, man. That was always my goal. I always wanted to test out 205 to see like if how I feel on fight nights at 85 was because of the weight cut or if it was nerves and things like that. And they just reaffirmed to me that it's just nerves that I personally get. But eventually I will go to 205. That's where my future holds. It's 85's not super, super hard to make, but it's not easy. And I'm only getting bigger. I'm only getting older. So eventually I will go to 205. I'll put the muscle on and I'll go to 205. But as of right now, I still have some knots to tie at 85. And I'm going to take care of those and see where that leads me. And when I can't make 85 no more, if it's just too much for my body, I just won't do it.
And you mentioned that you couldn't make 85, on short notice. So are you the type of guy, especially since, you go back home, enjoy your life after fight, which is, it's totally understandable. Are you the type of guy that a good portion of your fight camp is cutting down and cutting the weight? Is there, a number you always have to kind of cut from beginning to end before a fight to make middleweight?
I don't think I'm super like crazy about it. Like as far as like how much I cut or, I'm just a super weird guy when it comes to like doing it in a healthy manner. I don't want anything to affect me later in life of what I'm doing now because of saying I have to be rash about it or just not do it in a healthy manner. So I really like to cut the weight in a healthy manner. I like to diet properly. I like to cut as least bit of water as possible. Those are just things that I personally like to do that's in my head. Yeah. So could I make 85 on a week and a half, 2 weeks notice? Yeah, probably. I only walk around at like 208, 212 at the, but it's like, I'm not willing to just stop eating or being so rash and then have to cut 15 pounds of water. Like, nah, that's not, for me, it's not healthy, and I know it's not good for my body in the long run, and all it's going to do is mess up my metabolism, make the cuts even harder going forward. So I just try to be ultra smart about things and be a professional and do it properly, just because I know there is a life after fighting, and I want to live that best life after and be there for my children. So I don't want to do anything stupid now that will affect you know, my later years when I just my children.
And that's an interesting point, and it's a smart way to look at it, because this is your moneymaker. Your body is your moneymaker, and extreme weight cuts can be so traumatic to the body. And there was a story yesterday. Adam Piccolotti got suspended for 6 months because he kind of, you know, gave himself up by accident by posting a video of his weight cut before his win, and his like trainers had to help him and get him to move for the last process. He was vomiting and stuff like that, and part of why he got suspended was the commission felt that it was a bad example to young fighters. Would you agree with something like that? Like, these extreme weight cuts are kind of maybe just the wrong example for fighters to send to other fighters on the way up, and like, you know, what you do, you kind of wish maybe more fighters just went about it like that?
Yeah, I mean, but it's also the fact of like, there's thousands of those guys, and those younger fighters are going to get influenced by somebody one way or another, whether it's good or if it's bad. So it's kind of like, I think in life in general, eventually when you have children, eventually they're going to get old enough where society kind of takes a hold of them, and it's how good did you do parenting, what morals did you give them, and what do they stand by. And I feel like that's just life in general, whether it's fighting, whether it's kids or whatever it may be. So they're always going to be influenced, and of course that might not be the best thing for them, and everyone's weight cuts different. Like, obviously if we had one rules as far as weight cuts, like where you couldn't cut water, man, that'd be great, because I'd make 85 like it was nothing. I make it if that's the case, I make 85 not cutting water in freaking 2 weeks before the fight. So but that's just not the case, and that's not the reality. So we do what we have to do, and you know, as far as the young guys, you just hope you can rub off on them, or they find the right way. But you know, they're going to get propositioned basically with seeing other weight cuts, and when they see the success these guys have, it's almost like the use of steroids. You want to get big and strong, you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you see this guy 10 times your weight, and you're like, oh, I got to do that. How do you do it? And they're like, oh, I just shoot myself with this vial, and it happens. You know what I mean? So it's just taking the easy route. And you know, I'm not saying the weight cuts like that, but that would actually be the hard route, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just having in my eyes, it's just having the confidence in your abilities in order to go up a weight class and fight there instead of cutting so much weight to get there. But obviously, I'll be honest, I have friends that it is, you know, physically hard for them, you know, to go up a weight class, even though the weight is saying they need to go up. Their stature is not comparable to these other guys at the upper weight class, so it's just super hard for them. So they're kind of stuck in a hard situation. So I don't know what, to be honest, I don't know what the answer would be to like solving that problem or fixing it, but I don't know, man. That's a tough one. In this sport in general, that is just a super tough question. I don't think there's no real answer. Like, how do you do it? Because you know, every person's different, no matter what stage it's in, whether it's weight, whether it's stature, whether it's learning, whether it could be anything in the world, but everyone's different.
There was a time when a win over Sam Alvey was real meaningful, but he is just in a really rough stretch of being, you know, winless in his last 9. He hasn't gotten a W since 2018. Does like beating a super veteran guy like him still have a lot of meaning for you as still a young guy in the sport, young guy in the UFC? Or was this kind of, you know, part of why you were still a favorite, you know, despite a few days notice? This is more just look at, you know, I got another W in the UFC. That was the real merit in it, just helping me for my next contract.
Yeah, I would say it was like that. Obviously, it was an honor to fight someone like him that's been in there with so many guys. But for me, it was just about getting a W. And for me, every fight's like that, unless I have some type of personal investment in it, as far as like I just don't like the guy or something like that. But to me, it's always like that. No, at the end of the day, it's always just trying to get a W, keep moving up the ladder. Let's keep. And when I say that ladder, I mean financially, like contracts and stuff. I've come to the point in my career I don't care about numbers. So for me, it's just moving up that financial ladder and just, like I said earlier, gaining financial stability and just continue with my life. I don't read too deep into any person now. So it was an honor to do that and fight him. But man, you know, when you think about it, it's like people talk crap still after I win, which people would talk crap anyway. But dude, imagine if I would have lost, what kind of crap I would have got. Oh my God. That was, I think, like the biggest thing, but I don't really care about that too much either. I just hate seeing the notifications always pop up. I don't need to read it, but I like to stay low key.
So would you? And it's good to hear that you have this. You know, you want to put the priority on financial, and that's the way a lot of fighters should do. A lot of fighters seem just, oh, I just want to be in UFC. That said, hey, this is the tough question. When contract time does come around, and there's other better offers from PFL, Bellator, or whatever, are you at that point in your career like, hey, I'm wide open. I need to make the most money. I need to maximize this opportunity. Or are you still like, I'd rather do this in the UFC?
Oh, I've always been like that. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I'm not going to say I'm loyal to any brand because they're not loyal to me. I'm going to be a total 100% honest. I know they're not loyal to me, and I'm not loyal to them. You know what I mean? If someone comes and offers me $200,000 a fight, I'm there. That's it. I'm out. You know what I mean? But luckily, the people that I have surrounding me look for the future. So even though I might get a $200,000 a fight there, but what's later on in life? Maybe I have the potential to make $500,000 in the UFC versus 200,000 one time over here. You know what I mean? So I have the right people around me in order to think the future, and we can route the right way to get there. So I try to think toward the future and think of where we can be and what's the best overall scenario to go. But yeah, of course, if another opportunity comes, then I'm with it. You know, I'm just here to fight. I'm not like Michael Chandler always says, I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. You know? I'm here to just do it while I can because everyone knows that fighting is not forever. So
yeah,
I feel like the financial portion and focusing on that has helped take me away from focusing so much on numbers. And then when that opportunity gets lost from me, it just kind of really disappoints me and kind of just puts me in like a bad space. You know, when you get 3 opportunities at top 15 and then they just get ripped from you from something that you didn't do, like you didn't do nothing wrong. It just kind of really detours you and just disappoints you. And it just kind of, I don't know how to really explain it other than that. So now focusing on the financial part has really helped me stay away from that and focus on having the best life for my children and, you know, trying to focus on life after fighting, like, and prepare for that. That's been the biggest change for me.
You've won, 3 of your last 4. You've been really, really good in UFC. Like the only, aside from the Curtis setback with a loss to Sean Strickland, who's, in title contender status right now. Would you be disappointed if you don't get a ranked opponent, for your next fight? Is there almost a part of you like, I don't want to fight again until I get a ranked opponent? At least I think I deserve it.
No, man, I wouldn't be disappointed whatsoever. Like I said, man, it's more financial stability. I still get paid the same whether they have a number next to him or they don't. Yeah. And another good performance puts me in a good negotiation standard, like a standpoint. So, I'm not even focused on any other right now. I'm just going to go out there and fight whoever Ali says that we're fighting. I said we're fighting, and I'm just going to keep cashing checks, man. Like my boy DB always says, two Thompson, you know what I mean?
Well, talking about cashing checks, at the end of this fight, you had several things to say in the post-fight with the inside the octagon. One of them was telling Anthony Pettis to give you your money. Like, what money does Mr. Pettis owe you? Is this some like kind of Super Bowl bet that he failed in NFL playoffs or something else altogether?
No, Ant's my boy. Like, we always talk, and he always sends me stuff of bets he's making. I'm like, bro, send me some of that. I know you got enough of it. Send me some. And he'll mess with me and be like, I got you, bro. I got you. Or, no, I can't right now. My bank account's just set up a little weird right now. So, it was just a joke because after, like, he found out I was funny, he's like, bro, give me a shout out. I was like, I'm going to give you a shout out, all right? I got you. So, but he was in Mexico when the fight happened, so he didn't even see it for, like, after I posted it or something like that. But, he thought it was funny.